guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another case review. The last two I've have actually performed quite well in the number of people that have actually watched them, so thank you for that. Today we are looking at another AVP case. This is the Hyperion EV33 in black. There is also a white version available, but today we're looking at the black one. As you can see, it's a small form factor micro ATX mini ITX case. That is the only two form factors of board you will get in here. So as you can see on the front, nice big centre panel. You've got your buttons and stuff down the front, and the opening here. You have actually got a vertical removable panel for putting an optical drive in. Not that many people use those these days, but it's there if you want one. So if you turn it around, one thing you will notice is offset chamber openings for your I/O panel for your motherboard and your rear exit for your power supply. That's because this case is actually a twin chamber case. You have a chamber on this side for your motherboard, CPU, graphics card, etc., and a chamber on this side separated by your motherboard mounting plate for your power supply and hard drives and optical drives. So first of all, we'll take this side panel off. Exposed. And as you can see on the side panel, you do actually have a mounting point for a 120mm fan, which you could either use for exhaust or intake. On the rear of the case on this side, we have a space for an 80mm fan, and in the front of the case, I don't know if it's going to pick it up, you have openings here for a pair of 80s or 120mm fans. Because of the ventilation of the case, it only pulls in from a little space down the bottom. It probably wouldn't be a good idea to put a AIO water cooler in here, because you wouldn't have the airflow. It would be kind of constricted for water cooling, but for fan cooling it would probably be alright. So as you can see, we've got all our front cables here. Standoff, there's a lot of standoffs already mounted. You've got your openings in the side of the case here, or the side of the panel, for bringing all your cables through from the back for your power supply, for your motherboard, and for, say, your graphics card if it requires PCIe power. There is no fan mount space in the top, so all your ventilation comes through the front, through the side panel and through the back for this side of the chassis. Cables wise, we have front audio, front USB 2.0, front USB 3.0, and as with the previous AVP case, on the USB 3 tail, it has a USB 2 header tail on it. So if your motherboard doesn't have USB 3, you can convert your front USB 3.0 port into a USB 2 one, so you don't actually lose a port on the front of your case. You still get two USBs, but they're both USB 2 instead of one of them being USB 3.0. And then obviously you've got all your normal front panel wires, power switch, hard drive, LED, etc. So that's what's on that side of the case. And obviously in the case you've got some cable ties and all your screws, etc., for putting the machine together with. So that's that side of the case. If we take the other side panel off now, you'll notice you've still got your 120mm fan mounting point. This is obviously for airflow for your power supply, because that opening actually goes over where your power supply will sit. So you've got a bracket here for an optical drive, as I mentioned, that will come through from the front if you were to put one in. In the top here you have a bracket, a sliding bracket at the back for a 2.5-inch SSD or other 2.5-inch drive, and then in front of that you can mount a 3.5-inch mechanical. Again, you've got an 80mm fan vent hole for probably just pulling the warm air off of your drives. There is actually an 80mm fan mount in the front of the case here, so you could just have an 80mm intake and an 80mm exhaust just to keep cool air flowing across your hard drive, especially mechanical, to keep the drive electronics cool. There is not that many tie down points. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 tie down points around in the top of the case here for tying down your cables for management, but other than that there's not much for cable management at all. I don't know if you can see through there, there's actually another port here for bringing cables through, so You've got your 3 ports, 1, 2, 3, and then more ports here for cables, just if you're bringing them from the power supply, out through here, out this hole, and then back into that hole for an optical drive. So overall, it's not a bad case. I have actually built in one of these about 2 months ago for a friend of mine for a new PC for his daughter for Christmas, and the build went extremely well. That was with a mini ITX board. It was an Asus board with a Intel Core i7, I believe, and that build went extremely well. Although it is quite tight for space in the case, because all the parts in it were quite small, it was an easy build to do. And I will actually be doing another build in this particular case, building myself a HTPC. So when I get around to doing that video, or that build, I will be videoing it, so you can see yourselves how a small form factor build looks built in this case. Again, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. There'll also be a link to my website in the comments below where you can contact me directly should you wish to not put it in the comments, and again, I will get back to those as quick as I can. In the meantime, got to get Christmas out of the way, and we'll see you in the new year, and thanks for watching.